Since prehistoric times, blood was known as the giver of life. It was regarded in awe and veiled in mystery. Any animal or human being that was injured lost blood, and that blood loss led to death. It was therefore known as the giver of life. Many things have changed since prehistoric times up to the modern day blood transfusion services. I'll briefly describe a little bit of the history just to show you how much has changed since the beginning. The first transfusion was indicated in Greek mythology, where Medea was rejuvenating Anchises, and that was related as a blood transfusion. In 1492, Pope Innocent VII also had a blood transfusion. They transfused him with the blood of 3 healthy youths. He drank the blood, and everybody died, including the Pope. It was a little later, in the 1600s, when the discovery of circulation was found. After the discovery of the circulation, there were many new equipments used to transfuse the blood. Most of the transfusions were from animals to animals and eventually animals to humans. However, there were still many fatal reactions, and transfusion was stopped for 160 years. In 1818, transfusions revived again. In the Franco-Prussian War, this was the first time that blood was used at the battle zone. Unfortunately, there were still no anticoagulants, and the donors were sent to the trenches to transfuse directly to the patients. There was no measurement of blood transfusion at this stage, and transfusion was stopped where the donor fainted and the patient became red in the face and regained his color. The most important discovery in blood transfusion was in 1901 by Dr. Karl Landsteiner. He discovered the ABO blood groups when it was apparent that some blood seemed to be compatible with other donors and some blood seemed to be incompatible. He discovered 4 basic ABO blood groups called the A, the B, the AB, and the O. These will be discussed in a little detail later. The next very important discovery was the discovery of the Rhesus system in 1942. This was by Dr. Karl Landsteiner and his colleague Wiener, who transfused human blood into macaque monkeys. They found that 85% of the human population reacted with this antibody formed in macaque monkeys and called them Rh positive. The 15% that did not react with this antibody was called Rh negative. So today, blood collection and blood transfusion is a very different picture to what it was in the past.